Hey guys, if the audio is screwed up in this video, I apologize. I'm not quite sure how this is going to come out because I won't know until playback. We're going to go through game one here and get started. Know your game, and basically this is me saying your game might be different than my game, and over and over and over, if you watch enough of my videos, you're going to see the same shots and the same position played come up over and over, and this is because I'm most comfortable with drawing the ball and a lot of stop shots and going one route and spinning off that one route. You might have different solutions to different problems or different positions, and it's just the way it is. It just comes down to how you learn the game and who your influences were and all that kind of stuff. And I have to play the game that I'm most comfortable with. And these videos are more about what a player is thinking while they're playing pool and while they're going about winning, rather than, hey, do it my way and don't do it anybody else's way and change your way. It's not the point of this. It pulls. There's a lot of creativity, and that becomes a personal issue, and there's a lot of rhythm, and that becomes a personal issue. So again, your game might be totally different. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just the way it is. So let's get on to game number one. And the first thing after the break is, do you have a shot on the one ball? And you can see we clearly do. And the next thing you want to think about is, where's the 6 ball? And this comes back to the 1-5-6 rule. Those are the first two thoughts you want. Do we have a shot on the 1? If we do, we can win this game. And now, where is the 5, and where do I need to be on the 5 to get to the 6? And that's what we're looking at. There's a 5 right there. And you can see, I want to be straight in and just roll down on this 6 ball. In order to do that, I have to get up on this side of the 4 ball and as straight as I can get on the 4 ball. And the next thought is, where's the 3 and how do I get from the 3 to the 4? And this might be a question for you, is why I choose to get on the far side of this, the short side of this 3 ball, rather than get back here. And this comes down to my own personal style of playing. And I'm best at drawing the ball, so I want to be on that side to draw above this 4 ball. I don't want to get below it. And we can come over here and try to use top on the ball. But I would be worried about scratching. I'd be worried about hitting the 4. I'd be worried about a lot of things. And just stopping the game and screwing it all up and having to play safe and all that. You never want to give up control of the game, so stick with what you're comfortable with. I'll explain that further as we get to where's the 2. That's going in the side, obviously. So now it's back to, how do we get back down on this 3 ball? So you want an angle, you want to come further down on this side of the table than it might appear in this video. If we get too high on this 4 ball, it's going to be impossible to get on that 3 ball. So to get on the right side of this 3, you'll see me lay my stick down as we get started here. You see this line where I'm laying my stick down? I want to get below this line or on this line. I don't want to get above where my stick is, because again, it's going to be impossible to get back here on the 3. Or maybe not impossible, but I would have to cut the cue ball loose, and you're taking all kinds of chances of running into balls and just being stupid about it and losing control. So there's the line I'm looking for, and this is a little bit touchy. I pretty much accomplished my goal as best as I could. Now I'm just going to draw back over here on this 3. And again, I'll explain why I want to get there on the chose to just put top on that ball and come straight down here. But I don't want to run into the 7 by doing that. I'm most comfortable with the draw shot, and I'm drawing back up over here and avoiding the scratch. The only thing I'm really worried about is putting enough draw on it to not, you don't want to hit this 4 ball. You simply don't want to do it. You just want a straight in shot on this 4. Roll down for the 6 when you shoot the 5, and we'll pick it up from there. Here it is again. So it's not exactly straight in, but it'll work. As I'm shooting this 5, the game's half over. We've split the game in half, and now it's on the part B of this game. And the first part was easy enough, and the second part looks easy enough too. Just keep your nerve, keep your rhythm, and proceed. We should have thought about this a little bit further. There's a number of ways to get from the 6 to the 7. What happens is I wind up getting straight in on the 6. So what do you do here? Yeah, I'm forced to draw. I can't get back on the 7 without drawing the ball. But do I spin it left or right and come down straight in? No, I don't want to do that, because then it's going to be hard to get on the foot or the 8. So I want an angle here. And I determined that the best way to do this when I shoot the 7 is to go 3 rails and back up on the 8. For this position, this is the shot I'm most comfortable with. So how do I get in a position to shoot the 7 to go 3 rails on the 8? And all I have to do is draw it straight back on this rail, avoid the collision with the 9 ball, and proceed to shoot the 7 in this corner, not that corner. The 7's right behind the spot. And the reason you want to get on that side and not this side, let's say you were on this side of the 7 and you still want to go 3 rails, now you're risking of contacting the 9 and screwing everything up. And you're coming down on the short side, which might wind up making it more difficult to get on the 9. So all these things are going through your head, and so it's one step at a time, and just draw back for somewhere around the back of this 9 ball for a 3 rail shot on the 8. Just straight draw, no spin. That's a perfect angle. Some people are uncomfortable with this shot because there's a lot of distance from the cue ball to the 7 and from the 7 to the pocket. But just keep a straight stroke, and we're spinning this ball in with a little bit of left so we can spin back down table on the 9 or the 8 ball. And here's one of those positions where different players will do different things. And there you have all 6 pockets to shoot this 9 ball in. So what you want to ask yourself is, what pocket do you want to shoot it in, and what's the most comfortable shot for you to get on this 9? And I really kind of shot this shot bad and come up short on this 9 ball. I determined that I want to shoot it in the side because my draw shot is my best shot, and I'm at this angle where I can just draw. I hope you can see this mouse. Can you guys see that? You can just draw the cue ball up right around the side pocket somewhere to shoot it in the side. And the reason I decided to shoot it in the side is because, again, this is one of my best shots. This is the shot I'm comfortable with. I could draw the hell out of it and try to get on this side of the 9 ball. Or I could put top on this ball and come down and shoot it in this corner. But you're risking all these collisions. You don't want to run in to any balls on the table. You don't want to move what you've already decided to do. The last thing you want is this cue ball running in to the 9 ball, because you might wind up with no shot on any 6 of these pockets. So the best thing to do is think of getting the cue ball a foot away from the 9 ball and straight in to whatever pocket you decide to get to shoot at, no matter what you decide to do. Does that make sense? If that was confusing, sorry. Just play your game. It comes back to playing your game and what you're comfortable with doing. And that was a really bad shot. And what happened, because I shot that so bad, is I come up short on this 9 ball. So I had already decided to shoot this 9 in the side, but I should have been straighter in. So now I could shoot this in the corner, but I decided to stick with my plan to I don't want to risk anything going wrong, and again, cutting the cue ball loose or moving the cue ball more than I have to move it. If I shoot this in the corner, I could scratch here. If it bounces off the rail, I could scratch over there. So let's just stick with the plan and shoot my way out of it. Alright, here we are on to game 2, and as a little bit of a warning, my friend Robin comes up and she's in a talky mood, and she didn't know she was on camera, but she winds up blocking a couple shots. So kind of take a visual image of the whole table as we move along here. I'm quite used to people talking to me while I'm playing pool, and this comes from years and years and years of playing in the bars and all kinds of distractions going on around you. I can do a lot of things at once while I'm playing and still have that concentrated brain activity that you're forced to do while you're playing. And this is a spinning draw shot, and it gets a little complicated. You guys that are great pool players already know this, but if any beginners are out there watching, I'm going to explain it to them. Hopefully the audio is better in this part 2 here. Do we have a shot on the 1? That's the first question you want to ask after the break, and you can see we do. So now it's on to where is the 6 ball. And this is a lot like the last game. The ball setup is pretty close to being the same. And the 5's down here, and the 6 is here. So you want to try to get semi-straight in on the 5, and that's determined by where the 4 ball is, and we're going to shoot this 4 ball in the side just because it's the closest pocket to get to the 4 ball. So once all that is determined, you can take this further and say, where's the 7, where's the 8, where's the 9? But we're going to hold off on that, and that'll be part B of game 2. So let's move along, and we can see 5 and 6 is there. The 4, the 5 is there. We're going to shoot the 4 in the side. And now we have to determine the 3 ball, and that's simply in the side. And now it's on to the 2 ball, and where we need to get to on the 2 ball. to make all that happen. And we don't want to get behind the 2 because the side pocket is blocked. This pocket is blocked. Coming up behind it on this side for a shot in the corner, the far corner down there, is just too risky, and there's too much that can go wrong. So I'm going to, again, play my game. And we are spinning this ball, which is not just a draw shot. You want to get pretty much straight in on the 2. And you'll see when I shoot this shot, I was a little upset at myself because I put a little too much draw on it, and it changed my plan here. I just wanted to stop the cue ball when I shot the 2, maybe draw back a little bit and get the right angle on the 4 for a shot in the side, and just simply another stop shot on the 5, from the 4 to the 5. So don't let me get too far ahead of you. We'll just take it one step at a time. And here comes Robin. She doesn't know, again, she doesn't know she's on camera. I actually look forward to people distracting me, just to test myself. And I love when people try to shark me. A lot of guys hate it. They can't stand it. And because, again, the concentration level to play high performance pool is ungodly. And this, I'm going to keep rambling here. This is why when you look at pool players, they look like they're having no fun at all. They look like they're in misery. And that's because they're so damn focused on what they're doing that they don't have, they need every ounce of focus and energy that they have in their body to stick with their plan. And some people watch this that don't really know what's going on, and it's like, why do they look so miserable? How come? Believe me, if they're running out and they're playing good, they're having a blast. It's just that they've learned to not let that interfere with what they have to do at the table. We can get. This is a game of tiny, tiny, tiny fractions of an inch, and it takes a high level of concentration. So my point is, I kind of test myself with all the distractions and all the sharks, and I want to prove that I can hold a conversation, I can order a drink, I can do anything I want to do while I'm playing pool, and it's not going to bother me. I take it as a challenge, and if people are trying to distract me on purpose, it just pisses me off, and I use that energy to focus even more on whooping, for lack of a better word. You'll see me point to the table on where I want it to be on this 2 ball, and that I want right there is where I want it to be. So I went long, and now I'm forced to go 2 rails and back out on this 3 ball to continue with my plan of shooting the 4 in the side and making the rest of the game pretty basic. Come on. So I'm back on track now and shooting at the 3. Just have to bounce off this rail there. Here's the issue. I'm straight in on the 6. I didn't really want to be. I wanted to be a little bit further up table for an angle to come down 2 rails on the 7. And a lot of guys would just get somewhere around the side pocket and shoot the cue ball down to the end rail and come up for the shot on the 8. But that's not what I want to do, because I'm going to come up long on the 8. And the closer I can get to the 8, the more control I'm going to have over the cue ball. And the 9 ball's a little bit outside of this side pocket, right about where Robin's left shoulder is. So this is a touchy issue that I was talking about when this video started. I want to be at this angle on this 7 so I can come further down and get straight in on this 8 ball. If I'm all the way down here, it's going to be more difficult to control the cue ball when I shoot the 8. So in an effort to continue with that plan, I have to draw this ball. But if I draw it straight back, it's going to come over here somewhere around where this 8 ball is now. And I'm going to play hell getting back on the 8. So I want to draw this ball and come down table, right about a little where Robin's right shoulder is, the bottom right shoulder down here. And the way to do this is, it gets a little complicated here, and often players do this backwards, even good players, because they're just not thinking about what the cue ball is actually doing when they shoot this ball. So this is determined that we want to draw back to this rail and spin it down table. If we put left hand English on this, bottom left to draw it, it's going to die off this rail, and it's going to decrease the angle because we're down at 2 separate angles. So we need to use that angle to our advantage and spin the cue ball correctly so it grabs this rail and spins down table. Okay, and the way to do this is with right hand English, because now the cue ball is spinning counterclockwise, and it's going to grab this rail and it's going to increase the angle for the angle that I want on this 7 ball. And again, we're taking another look at where the 7 is and where I want to get to. Actually, on this spot, the spot where you rack the 1 ball, would be optimum. And I still wind up coming up short, but you'll see what I was trying to do. This is bottom right hand English to spin the cue ball counterclockwise, grab this rail, and increase the angle down table. Bottom right. People do this backwards all the time. They put bottom left on it because that's what seems to be natural. It's bottom right. And you see how I grabbed that rail and came down table. It didn't quite come down far enough, and I wound up screwing up a little bit here, but it's nothing we can't fix. So that's not quite the angle I wanted. I wanted to get closer to the 8 and straight in, and the rest of the game would have been easy. So I have to put a little bit of kill on this ball to decrease the action of the cue ball when I shoot this 8. And that's just bottom. So again, it's pretty much drawing the ball. And you'll see it die. See it die off there? It could have wound up over here. It could have wound up over here if I just tried too hard to do that. So just a little bit of bottom. So it's actually spinning backwards before it hits the 8. And then right before it hits the 8, there's no top spin, no bottom spin in anything. It just kind of just dies off the rail. And that's called killing the cue ball. So I'm not at the greatest angle on this 9, and you can't see it, and I apologize that you can't see this. But I made it, and now it's on to game number 3. Avoid the collision. You never want to run into balls, ever, 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 unless you have to. If you have to break out a cluster or something like that, okay. And sometimes you need to run into a ball to get the right position, but you shouldn't have got in that position in the first place. There's always a way around that and to avoid it. So again, it comes down to your concentration level. And the more you practice this 1-5-6 rule, the higher your concentration level will get to. And you'll see why after practicing it over and over and over again, why this rule is so vital. And it's my own. This is original. I don't know if anybody else who ever put anything like this in an instruction book or a video or anything. So I'll run it by you again. The first thing you want to think about after the break, the most important thing is, do you have a shot on the 1? Once that's determined, where is the 6 ball and where do you need to be on the 5 to get to the 6? And you'll see as you go. Eventually, you're going to have to see the whole table and the whole complete pattern if you continue practicing this this method of thinking. So let's move on with it. Avoid the collision. There's a 1. We have a shot on the 1. Where is the 6 and what do I need? Where do I need to get on the 5 to get to the 6? And I'd like to be right about where the joint of my stick is so I can come down on this side of the 6. I don't want to shoot this 6 in the side or in the corner because it's going to be hard to get on the 7 from there, and I'm probably going to be shooting off the rail, so let's avoid all this, and let's get here on the 5. For a lot of reasons, we want to avoid collisions. You'll see as I shoot this 1 what happens here. So the 4, and I got a little ahead of myself. After it's determined where the 5 and 6 is, we have to start thinking backwards. Where's the 4 ball, and how do I get right here on this 5? And after that, where's the 3 ball? Where's the 2 ball? And how do we get on this 2 ball? So the 4 is right in front of me over here somewhere. And there's the 3. That's going to go in the corner, obviously. And there's the 2. So now I'm thinking, how am I going to get on this 3 ball? And you want an angle that's pretty much down like an inch below this spot so I can draw the ball above this 3. I don't know if you can see my arrow. On my screen, my arrow is like huge so you can see it. But when I go about the process of recording it, my mouse arrow gets real small. I don't know why that happens, but I'll figure it out, hopefully. Hopefully there's a way to where you can see my arrow as being way bigger than you're probably seeing it right now. So here's the 8 ball. You want to be a couple inches above this 8 ball, and so you can shoot the 2 and draw back to get above this 3 ball. So let's roll the beam footage, man. Here's where I make a mistake, and this can cause a train wreck here. You see me hit the 9 ball, boom, and that screws up the angle to get from the 2 to the 3. So I got too far up table on this 2 ball. So now, again, with that spin draw shot, I have to come below this 3 ball. This is so risky, but it's really the only way I can see to get on this 3 ball from this position. I could try to go down this end round, come back up, and I don't want to do all that, and that's going to be hard to get on the 4 to get where I need to be on the 5. So I'm going to stick with my plan. I'm just going to go about it a little bit different and come below this 3 ball, spin it off the rail, maybe run into this 7, but that'll stop the cue ball and I'll be perfect. So let's see what happens. This is bottom right hand English to send the ball in a counterclockwise movement and spinning a back up on this angle to avoid the collision. With a 3, this is risky, and that's the only way I can see to do it. If we screw it all up, I'll play safe or something. Well, here we are, and this is where I'm shooting out of a screwed up position. You see it spin up table when it hits this rail? That's what I want to do, and a little bit of body English never hurt. That's a perfect angle on the 3 ball to get back up. On position on this 2 ball, or this 4 ball, so I can get on the 5. That's exactly where I want to be. Just kill this off the rail a little bit so it doesn't get away from me. And now I'm in exactly the position I need to be on this 5 to get on this 6. Now, here's an interesting issue. I don't know if I stopped this tape. There's a perfect stroke I put on this ball, but you see where the 9 is? We can't get straight in on the 7 because it's impossible with the 9 being right there. So we have to come up short on the 7 and play this angle and go 2 rails on the 8. Knowing that I want to stay out of that danger of getting behind this 9, I have to come up short. That's the stroke you want. You see that pause in the back of my stroke? Get in the habit of doing that, and that will help your game. Yeah, it went a little too. Come on. I don't know why I have too much crap on my computer. Yeah, sorry guys. It won't play. You see that? Something's stuck. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that pause, but there is a pause in the back of my stroke. And I had to work hard on that. So here we are at I would have liked to come up closer to this side pocket or past the side pocket, and it would have made things easier for me. But I really have to cut this ball, this 7 ball in the side, and so now the problem is, where is the cue ball going? And I have to take a chance here of scratching, and I kind of spun my way out of the scratch just by putting right-hand English on this. And I have to knock my shoulder back. And when I was young, I tore a ligament and sprained my collarbone on the right-hand side, body surfing in the ocean. And every now and then I have to tighten. It just sometimes just it goes stupid and weak, and I have to kind of bang it back in place to lock that shoulder up. Some guys shoot, like Efren shoots with a real loose shoulder, and Bustamante and all those guys from the Philippines. Mine has to be tight, otherwise it's going to drop. So I have to actually put concentrated effort into keeping that right shoulder tight, and you'll see me banging my shoulder. See? So a little bit of draw and a little bit of right hand English so I don't scratch. I'm just avoiding the scratch and coming out 2 rails for a shot on the 8. There's a lot to think about, but that's the key to nine ball. There's a lot to think about, and there's a lot going on. If you practice, concentrate in the right way, it will eventually become natural for you, and it won't take so much effort piecemeal. Anyway, what do you say? I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. Keep practicing, and don't just practice playing, but practice concentrating and thinking the right things while you're playing. If this video gets a lot of traffic, if it catches on, I'll do more of them. So it's kind of in the experimental phase right now, and we'll see how it does. So if you liked it and you think you know of people who are good players but they can't quite get over the hump into being a great player, show them this, share it with them, and if it does well, then we'll make more of them. Peace, everybody.